I think you might be the only Twitter avatar out there that's an X-ray of somebody's skull, which is your own. You got to tell us the story behind that. I mean, you can make out some of the screws in there too, but
I should have ducked is the story. That's my hardware, man. I'm proud of that shot. People think I'm crazy for liking that and going through that, and that's bullshit, man. I put it all out there for my teammates and got hurt and tried to get back on the horse and just kept going. That's what we do, and if you're willing to sacrifice, there's a lot of honor in that, and I think my teammates always appreciated that, and even Biz, you know what it's like, man.
What was the final result of that whole injury, if you could describe it, like in doctor's terms?
Oh, so this injury was broken orbital, blown out orbital, broken cheekbone, zygomatic arch, and I think eye socket. So I don't know what the eye socket.
And who threw the punch?
Derek Bugard.
Oh.
6'7", 275 pounds. But he didn't punch he had the punch from here, not here. So it was an awkward fighting a guy like that. And I put myself in a bad position. I was wide open. And I tried to come back with a back fist I knew I was vulnerable. And I tried to come at him with a back fist to keep him from throwing. Because just a tap to the face will stop him. But I was coming this way. He was coming this way. And the face broke. So when that happened, I didn't get knocked out, but you instantly know. If you bust your nose, you're like, yeah, okay, something's wrong. I knew something was wrong, and I touched my face. And there was, I forget who the line mate was. He was in a lot of my fights, and he loved the way I fought. He's an older guy, and he's like, oh, Friggy.
Mayday? Scampanello?
Yeah. Oh. No, it might have been Mayday. But he was there in a lot of them, and he said, ooh, Friggy, you're hurt. And I knew I was hurt that time, and I went by their bench, and Branko Radivojevic actually played with me in Philly. So we were close, and he was kind of chirping me like, Friggy, you got caught there. And as I went closer to their bench, the smiles of elation from the loss from me, their faces kind of dropped because they're like, you could see it was indented, and that's when I knew. I was like, oh man, you're going off the ice and people are like, oh, I'm like, what's wrong, guys? And then the
looks great now though, dude. Hey, whoever did the work, think about it.
Yeah, quick plug. Want to do a free swipe up?
I can't remember his name.
Talk to Vinny Boombuds.
I can't remember his name, but he was in Anaheim. That doctor, he passed on now, but yeah, he fixed me up. And
so in the ambulance right to the hospital, or did they do stuff there? Do you remember?
I was in Minnesota. So what happened is I went in the back. Their doc came in, and I started blowing my nose, so my sinuses had came out of my nose, right? And he's like, "Don't do that." And because I was trying to get the pressure off, and he just trying to touch it, and he's like, "You need to go to the hospital." So we went to the hospital, spent the night in the hospital. They didn't do anything. Loaded me up with drugs, and then we had to fly back. So we flew back to Anaheim for the surgery.
So now more pressure on your fucking face.
Oh, it was a fucking lovely flight with the trainer. Skahan came with me, and he was awesome, man. He was awesome because he was mad at anybody that was getting in our way, slowing us down. He's like, get out of the way. We got to get this guy on the plane. He did all that. And I remember that. I remember because I was in a lot of pain, man. And I had to take that flight and get back to Anaheim.
Was that the first and only time you ever fought Bugard?
No, I fought him before, and I thought I did pretty good against him. I thought I won that one. He came out of his jersey and stuff, but I'd fought him before that earlier.
Was that your toughest injury as a pro, or as in
yeah, that was the worst one. I was never the same after that one. I had broken this side against Cairns earlier in my career in Philly. He broke this side with the left. Cairns is a big puncher, man.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I put him down. Yeah, good man too. Real good man.
When you say you weren't the same, like, and we talked about this over this weekend, is when you come as this new fighter, you have this spunk about you, and you're like raring to go. After that surgery and everything that you've gone through, did you kind of question whether you wanted to even keep doing it anymore, or you just knew you had to, but the passion wasn't there?
No, the passion was there. When it was about earning a living. Like I had to prove that this injury wasn't going to stop me. I was only 26, so I was young and I had a lot of years left, and my body was healthy. It was just my face. So It wasn't that I didn't want to do it. I knew I had to do it to earn a living and keep earning money. You know, I had more years left, but I knew that at I taking another shot there, I could lose my eye, and So that goes through your head. You know, you don't want to lose your eye, and you don't want. At some point, you got to draw the line, right? And I just didn't. I had too much years left. I didn't have like money in the bank, and those come into play, you know. And I tried to get back on the horse. You know, I just said, you know what, the only way if you fall off a horse, get back on it. And I was never the same. I was always protective of that the injury, and I talked with a couple doctors like, well, what could happen, and you got to tip your hat to the docs. They're never going to tell you you're never going to be able to do it. You know, if it's going to break, I mean, you're fighting. If it's going to break, it's going to break again. But you got to start thinking about those things. And I was always on defense after that. So I never had the cowboy. Like, I like to fight like a cowboy, get in a fight, take hits, give hits. Somebody goes down, that's who wins. But you get broken face, you can't take those hits anymore. Yeah. And you got to worry about. I had kids at this time, so there's a whole other ball game now coming into play. So I was never the same fighter after that, and it was a lot harder to get in fights too, because guys would ask me when I'd ask them, "Are you sure? What about your face?"
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't want to do it themselves. And I would be like, I have to fight him. This is my job, man. I have to show up. If I don't do this. Those were the toughest years for me. I went back from Anaheim when a first place team where we knew we were going to win the cup that year in October, man. We knew and we believed that. And I got injured and ended up getting traded back to Philadelphia it was the worst year in Philadelphia's history that year. So first to worst is like, that's kind of the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.